moving on from that, then we had a chat about REITs at one point, and I thought it would be quite interesting to talk about on the podcast. Uh, what do you know about REITs? Or
So,
what does REIT stand for? Let's just
so
start
REITs,
off
REIT, REIT
with.
stands for Real Estate Investment Trust.
Yeah,
So it's essentially a company that invests in real estate
yeah,
for commercial purposes.
sure.
So most of these REITs, they would invest in big commercial buildings, which then they lease out different companies.
Okay.
But within that sector, you'll have REITs that just focus on, like, for example, shopping malls and centers. You'll have REITs that invest just in healthcare facilities. So it's even within that, it's quite broad. It's not just
Sure.
and then you can also get a REIT ETF. So
Okay.
rather than investing in one company, the ETF, it tracks a whole bunch of REITs, a whole bunch of companies that invest in commercial property in various sectors. So
So
that way
is it
you're quite diversified.
So is it mainly commercial then? Yeah.
It's mainly commercial.
No, it doesn't track the real estate residential market.
I mean, there might be a REIT.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know much about REITs other than basic stuff.
Yeah.
There might be a company that,
Like a trust. Sorry, a fund that tracks
like there might be a REIT that just focuses on
Residential.
non-residential.
Yeah.
But I think typically those would be kind of maybe they wouldn't go as a REIT. So with REITs, there's certain things that they have to follow. Like, for example, they have to pay like a certain amount of profits they make. Like, they have to give it back to the shareholders.
Okay.
Yeah. So typically in stocks, paying dividends is a choice. It's not
Okay.
it's not compulsory.
Okay.
So that's why some big companies will pay dividends. Small companies won't.
Sure.
Yeah. But within REITs, they have to pay a certain amount.
Yeah.
I think in the US, it's something like 90%
Okay.
for pre-tax profits they have to pay to to their shareholders.
90%
90%
of
their
the.
pre-tax profits
Okay.
they have to. So because of that, they and whereas if you were to operate as a private company,
Yeah.
it might work better for them. So a company, massive real estate company, I don't know, Keaton's,
Yeah.
or other big estate agents,
Sure.
they might prefer to operate as a company
Yeah.
as opposed to a REIT.
Okay. Yeah, because like, let's just say they're making 10%. It's just almost like you're managing.
Managing costs, pretty
Yeah,
much.
it's management costs almost like
Yeah.
it's almost quite low actually. But so it's like, but, I mean, I'm guessing with commercial property or whatever kind of property. I mean, when it's real estate, you're making money from the rent, right?
Yeah,
So
the leases.
from the leases to commercial entities. So that well, I don't know if you know, but is it that money that's getting given as dividends or?
Yeah, it could be that. It could be
Really?
a sale of a property.
Yeah. Okay, so they may be those funds may be buying and selling.
Yeah,
properties.
they will do both.
Okay,
They will
I was thinking they're just buying properties and then they're just making money from the rent and then just paying the rent.
No,
out
not
as
just that. It
dividends.
could also be like real estate development projects.
Mm.
So they might, join together or do it themselves, buy a plot of land, build houses, and then sell them on.
Okay. Oh, okay. It could be like individual projects like that.
Yeah. But I mean, when we say individual projects, to them it's like a massive development site where they're gonna,
Yeah.
it comes up with 100 like flats or something
Yeah.
like that, 100 units.
So could you invest in one REIT that does that project and then would it come to an end? Would that
No,
REIT
no.
close or they just move
Possibly,
on
I
to the
don't
next project?
know. That I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm saying a company that might be some of the things they do.
Yeah.
So and then they buy, develop, and then sell, and that will form part of the profits. So
Sure,
profits
sure,
could come from selling property, could come from the lease money.
Sure.
But if you invest in a REIT, you would get dividends.
Okay.
So I think
okay.
REITs is a good way to invest in the real estate, sector
Without having to fork
without
out
having
a big
fork out.
deposit
Yeah, if
and,
you don't have a deposit, if you don't have enough money,
yeah, and if you don't want to deal with mortgages,
yeah, you don't want to deal with all of that, then
because it's Sharia compliant. I
you
would
can
say,
get some, yeah.
Yeah.
Just like stocks,
Yeah.
there's some that are Sharia compliant. You'll have to look into it. For anyone watching, there's an app called Zoya, Zoya. They look into companies to check their permissibility, Sharia compliance.
Just REITs or just like throughout?
No, they do stocks overall. I think they not too long ago they added a function for checking on REITs as well,
Okay,
but
okay.
I'll have to double check that.
Zoya, yeah.
Zoya,
Is it?
Zoya.
Okay.
So yeah, you could easily. This is what I meant when I said earlier that it's never been more accessible to invest in stock markets. Like you don't have to then read through all the financial statements, figure out the kind of the certain like the rules and principles around determining whether a company is Sharia compliant or not. Literally, on your fingertips, touch your fingertips. Go on the app. So yeah, put in the symbol for that company. It's called ticker, like a ticker symbol. So for ticker symbol for Microsoft would be MSFT.
Okay.
And then they'll tell you whether, according to their principles, and they tell you what kind of principles they use, whether it's Sharia compliant.
Okay.
So you could check whether a REIT or a company is Sharia compliant. But yeah, it's a good way to invest in the real estate, where if you don't have a lot of money and so for example, if a REIT pays, and like I said, like because of the nature of REITs, they have to pay dividends, a certain amount of their profits. So you are going to get paid. Whereas a company they could be paying dividends, and then the next quarter they might say, actually, it's not been a great, or the next year they might say, actually, it's not been a great year for us. We're not going to pay dividends this year. And they have a right to do that.
Sure.
Whereas with REITs, they're legally required to pay a certain amount of dividends. So if a REIT, for example, offers a 5% dividend, assuming the REIT is Sharia compliant, then you could invest in that company, assuming the company is sound, and it's being run well, financials are in order. That's for if you put in however much you put in, 5% return without doing anything.
Okay.